Hey everyone, it's Joelle, and I am back with a new video this week. And today I'm going to be talking about how I adopted my rescue. So yeah, if you'd like to hear more, keep watching. My roommates and I had been thinking about adopting a pet at some point, but we hadn't really talked about what kind of pet. Like we were thinking maybe a cat or a hamster, potentially a dog, but we weren't really like completely sold on an idea yet. Around my third year in college, we were all living off campus at the time, and it was actually my roommate's idea to go see, a dog that day. It was literally a random Wednesday, and it was pretty close to finals, I think, and he really wanted to just go see some dogs, have a little therapy session, and I was the only one with a car. So he asked me to take him, and I was like, all right, sure, like, why not? Like, I'd be down to see some dogs too. I had had a dog of my own about 2 years prior that passed away when I was still living at home. I'll try to put in a picture of her. And I just wasn't super stoked about potentially adopting another dog. But I was like, sure, like, why not? Let's go. Like, who doesn't love dogs? So we went to the shelter, and I remember we wanted to go to a different shelter that was a lot closer, but it just, didn't have that great reviews. It looked kind of sketchy. So we went to a shelter that was a little bit further away. It was like a 40-minute drive. We check it out, and I would just remember there being all these big dogs, like everywhere. There was big dog after big dog after big dog, and we both kind of knew that we just weren't in the right place to adopt a big dog. Our apartment was kind of small, and I don't know, personally, I've always been a small dog kind of person. After we finished looking through all of the dogs, we went to go look at the cats. Finally got to the last row of cats, and I just remember hearing this dog like freaking out in the back. And we thought we'd seen all the dogs. And in the last row, each row has about like 6 cages. And the first 4 cages were completely empty. So we had assumed that that row was empty. And there was this dog that was just going ballistic. He was barking and scratching and just making a huge ruckus. So we started to go looking down that aisle. And before we got to the dog that was freaking out, we saw this cute little like round fluff ball in the cage right before him, and we were just so like obsessed. Like from the moment we saw her, we sat down and we started to try to talk to her, but she really didn't seem that interested in us. She was kind of scared and nervous, and she was shaking. She definitely looked out of place, and I remember like I accidentally dropped my keys and she freaked, and she was just so like scared, and I just wanted to like hold her and make her feel better. But she wasn't really interacting with us, so we didn't really know if she liked us or not. So we were like, all right, well, we didn't come here to adopt a dog today, but she is really cute. So we started to get up, and we were about to leave, and she just freaked out when she saw us got up. She started barking at us, and she was running around in circles, and she was like scratching at the gate, and she was just a completely different dog than we had just seen. And we sat back down, and she calmed down, and she started licking us through the gate, and she was being super playful, and she kept walking around in circles, showing off, and she was so cute. We just fell in love with her. And we were sitting there for, 15, 20 minutes just interacting with her. And I remember during this time, this lady, she saw us sitting down, and she came over and she looked over our shoulders, and she was like, oh my God, like she's so cute. And she walked away. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, I think this lady is going to try to get her, And she had also told us that she had already had like several other dogs. And I was just like, in my head, no, like this lady cannot have this dog. Like she's mine. I want her. Like I can't let this happen. So we get up, and I like rush over to the reception, and my roommate catches up to me, and we happen to get in line right before she does. And she ends up right behind us. And she's like, are you guys in line for the dog? And we were just like, yeah. And she's like, oh, me too. And we were just like, sorry, not sorry. And so they inform us that someone else already does have a hold on her. and also that she wasn't available to adopt just yet, that she had just come into the shelter the day before, and she was brought off the street, and they needed to give at least a week before, to see if anyone would claim her. And then we went home for the day. And we were a little bit, sad, but also excited about the potentiality of getting a dog. And then a few days later, at the time I was working at Starbucks, and I remember going on my break and I had this voicemail. It was from the shelter. And I just remember being super happy. Like, I was over the moon, super excited. They told me that the first person had dropped their hold and that we were now the first hold. So as long as no one came in claiming that she was theirs with proof, then she would be ours. I remember I was so happy, I started crying. I was like mid-shift at Starbucks, just sobbing my eyes out. And I remember my coworkers and my manager were just like, what is happening? And I'm like, I'm getting a dog. So we show up, he signs the papers, and he asks why there's so many people. And they said that it's actually because it's Clear the Shelters Day. And of course, on Clear the Shelters Day, you can adopt for free. So the day that she happened to be available was Clear the Shelters Day, which is like mind-blowing to me. We basically got her for free. And so we weren't able to pick her up that day. We had to go pick her up the next day because she had to have the surgery so she could no longer, have kids. If you ever adopt a dog from a shelter, it's mandatory that you do that. We took her home the next day. They gave us like this whole little kit with like a leash, and they like had her wrapped up in a towel. So we took her home. And that was pretty much it. And now I have this cutie. So this is Ella, and she is super cute. She's a licker, and she will do this all day. It always seems really weird to me. Like, I feel like she chose me and it was fake, because all of the things that led up to me adopting her, I personally wasn't looking for a dog. My roommate wanted to go see the dogs at the shelter because it was finals week, and he wanted to have a little bit of a therapy session. And we went, and we didn't see her at first because she was like hidden in the back. She had just been brought in the day before. Of course, the day that she's available ends up being Clear the Shelters Day, and I end up with her for free. And there was a whole thing with the person with a hold right before us who, just happened to drop out, and there could only be 2 holds at a time, and we happen to be the only other hold. I don't know. It just feels very like weird to me, like all of the chain of events. And on top of that, my dog passed away 2 years ago before I got her. And when I got her, she was about 2 years old. I don't know. I mean, they're definitely very, very different personalities. I don't think she's like a reincarnation of her, but I definitely feel like she was sent to me. I don't know. I just feel like it was meant to be. Like, me and her were meant to be together. And yeah, I don't know, she's made my life so much more whole. That's my story of how I adopted my rescue. Let me know if you have any questions about the process, or if you're planning on adopting a dog. Tell me your stories. I'd love to hear about them in the comments below. All right, well, I hope you guys all have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that thumbs up button, like and subscribe, and let me know what else you'd like to see. All right, bye everyone.